Zacks Screen of the Week, an overview of a timely stock screening strategy aimed at helping you produce more profitable investing results. Hey, let's screen this time around for upgraded broker ratings. Okay, so let's bring in Kevin Matras, who is the head of our Research Wizard division. He'll tell us all about how to go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Right, because that's what you wrote about this week, and so I figured it'd be a good idea to talk with you about
it. Makes sense.
So this is about stocks receiving upgraded broker ratings,
right.
I presume.
Right.
Seems like more of these stocks in your portfolio, the better. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, that would be correct. I'm sure that so many people out there have probably had the experience of waking up and seeing one of their stocks upgraded by one of the brokers who is covering it. And normally that stock is going to be in for a pretty good day that day. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people have also had the experience of waking up and seeing one of their stocks downgraded by one of the brokers.
Right.
And usually that stock is going to struggle that day, if not even for the days to follow. The reason why this is important is because while nobody can perfectly guard against a downgrade or accurately predict which stocks are going to get upgraded, it's important to know what happens to these stocks. So if you are in one of those upgraded stocks, you can stay in or at least get in if you're on the fence, and consider getting out if you find yourself in one of those downgraded stocks.
Okay. Well, staying in winners, getting out of losers definitely makes sense. Not always easy to do, however.
Right. Well, one thing that I like to do when I am screening for stocks is I do try to find stocks that have been recently upgraded by the brokers, because statistics have shown that stocks that do have broker rating upgrades outperform those stocks that don't get upgraded, and outperform even more so stocks that get downgraded. So the question is, by how much? Let me show you, because I ran some tests.
All right.
So check this out. So I ran some tests and I created 3 screens. The first screen, I looked at companies where there were no upgrades or downgrades. In other words, the broker rating remained the same regardless of what they were. Mm-hmm. There was just simply no change. In the second screen, I looked at companies that had received only broker rating upgrades, so they had to have a positive average broker rating change. And then in my third screen, I looked at only companies that had been downgraded. So again, whatever it was, those companies had to have received a downgrade from the brokers covering it.
So upgrades beat downgrades?
Yeah, the upgrades did beat the downgrades. What's interesting, though, is I had fully expected to see the upgrades outperform all of the other samples, but I was a bit surprised at the magnitude that it outperformed it. So check this out. If you were to look at the first screen, the one with no upgrades or downgrades, over the last 10 years, I did this between 2000 and October of 2009, so almost a 10-year time span.
All right.
The average annual return for the ones with no upgrades or downgrades produced on average of 4.7% per year. Sorry about that. If you only look at the ones where they had upgraded broker ratings, that one produced a return of 9.3% on an annual basis. And then you can see on screen 3, the ones that received only the downward broker rating changes, that one actually showed a loss of minus 1.3. So the upgraded broker ratings beat the ones with no changes by, twice as much, and it significantly outperformed the ones with the downgrades. So to put this into perspective, if you had, let's say, a hypothetical $100,000 account,
okay,
that the one with the upgraded broker ratings, yep, that would have returned on average of about $9,300 a year, whereas the broker downgrade screen would have actually lost $1,300 a year. That is a $10,000 difference, and that literally was the difference between a gain and a loss by simply looking at one of those items. What was even more interesting, though, is this. Once I saw the outperformance of the broker rating upgrades, I then wanted to add the Zacks rank to the upgrade screen. And by adding the Zacks rank to the upgrade screen, it increased it by a significant amount. So if you were to look at it, The average annual return for the broker rating upgrade screen was 9.3%. When you add the Zacks rank of a 1 to it, that increased the returns to 23.6. So simply adding the Zacks number 1 rank to that screen increased the returns by 2.5 times. That is pretty significant.
And you're talking about annual returns.
Annual returns, exactly.
All right. Well, give us some examples, if you will. Oh, wise one.
Yeah, there was a bunch of
that came through.
There was a bunch of stocks that came through. Here's 5 of them. You've got Caterpillar, Eastman Chemical, Mobile Telesystems, Boston Beer, and Sealed Air. All of those stocks are currently ranked at number 1, and each one of those stocks has recently seen the brokers covering it increase their outlook on the stock. So they've all received broker rating upgrades. They all have a Zacks number 1, and these are definitely stocks that you want to consider.
All right. Do you own any of these?
No.
All right. And if you want to read about this week's screen that Kevin has run and described here for you so eloquently, get over to Zacks.com's homepage if you haven't already and check out the written version of this week's Screen of the Week by scrolling down the homepage until you get to Kevin's picture and clicking on the headline, which is a live link to that story, and that's located right next to his picture. And if you want to find out more about the Research Wizard, which is the backtesting tool and the software tool that Kevin uses to achieve all of these screens, go to Zacks.com/Research Wizard. Learn more about that there. With Kevin Matras and the Screen of the Week, I'm Terry Ruffalo.